This channel is supported by Truefire. Truefire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. One area of making guitars that has actually changed a fair amount, because this kind of thing didn't really exist too much before the 90s, right, which is when the Fender Custom Shop came around. And this idea that you would pay quite a significant upcharge in order for someone to, you know, artificially wear your guitar, it's kind of an interesting idea. Now, I've got Jake's Fender Custom Shop here, which was a Journeyman Relic. And in this video, I kind of wanted to sort of put it out there that, for me, I think what beats a Relic pretty much every time, well, every time, I think, anyway, is this idea that you've actually managed to wear out your guitar. And do you have time to do this? How do you feel about this sort of thing? And, yeah, do you have any sort of strong feelings against Relics or for them, or do you not care? is a guitar. This was a Journeyman, I think, or maybe just before they started doing the Journeyman, but like a light Relic. So it wasn't, I think this would probably fall into sort of, at this point, more of a heavy Relic kind of situation. But this arm, there was a little bit here and a little bit there of wear, but none of this other stuff, and like a little bit of checking. But what's really cool is that, you know, I guess how much time did this kind of thing take to develop? I think it's maybe a little bit less than you think, but you do really have to commit to one guitar. Is basically the main thing of it, to get a guitar to age properly for you. If it's made of nitro, that's another key component here, and you really play it a lot and maybe gig them as well, you get this beautiful thing starting to happen. And it's not actually, in to my eyes, that similar wear. What is really lovely is if you look after your guitar necks, and Anthony from up the road, who has the Fender Eric Johnson, similar sort of thing, is that the wear happens unevenly, and you don't get this kind of uniform thing that you get on some of the Fender Custom Shops, where it's like, okay, just between here and here there's no lacquer, and then there's like a transition point. What you actually get is like these pockets where there's less wear, which is slightly smoother where your thumb has been, and you maybe get some on the underside here as well if you wear rings and stuff like that. But what I really think about it as is that you're basically, over the years, you know, slowly sort of using your hand as a very, very fine sandpaper, and that also gives you a really nice feel to it, especially if you look after your neck. You don't like knock it against stuff. And I don't think it can be beaten by a Relic. And similarly up here, where it's starting to wear through to this sort of white undercoat, it's like there's so much depth to some of this stuff. Now, you don't get this with poly guitars, and maybe it doesn't matter too much after all. If you've got loads of guitars that you circulate through, then you won't necessarily get to this level. And one of the things you can just do is just buy a guitar which is already heavy Relic, or, you know, like this sort of thing. But I guess it would be the same sort of idea in that if you are not the person who's worn down the guitar, like it's wear in places that is maybe not where you would have it as well. So this is like Jake's personal guitar that he's played, you know, he's going to get those slow dancing in the burning room marks, right? And the gravity marks, and you get what I mean. I think that's kind of the interesting idea around Relics. And you know how Nacho does his thing, like, for instance, there's a guitar with a wear pattern that is not where I would have a wear pattern, because most of mine is around sort of this area here, not down the cowboy chords area. So over time, I guess this guitar is going to take on some more of the characteristics that it will have from me playing it. So that would be interesting to see. But as a starting point, I just think you have that in the back of your head, like, is that as authentic as a guitar? That if you've got the time to do this sort of thing, then I really would encourage someone to kind of get a nitro guitar and play it a lot and see where it ends up, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I think it's hard to beat, you know, your own guitar that you've had for maybe 8 to 10 years, maybe 5 if you're going to be kind of vicious with it, maybe even less if you gig a lot. But I think there's real beauty in actual proper wear. Even the best Relic jobs, I don't think, compete with this sort of thing. So this is my guitar, which I've been playing since 2018. This was not at all sort of Relic, but it's started to check all over. The fretboard edges are super rounded now and super smooth. It's just a different thing when you know that all of this stuff is, you know, indicative of the hours that you've put in on the instrument, the gigs that you've personally done. There is beauty in that, I think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Can a Relic get there, or do you think authentic wear is the way to go? Or are you someone who doesn't want any wear? You want like a new looking guitar with a poly finish? There's this whole nitro thing bollocks. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Cheers for stopping by.